I was just looking out the back window into the backyard and just thought, how blessed and favored. That's how I felt this morning. Blessed and favored. Oh, and I'm in St. George, Utah. St. George. Positivity, Lake Forest. Lake Forest, they had some good sports in high school, if I remember right, or something like that.
Oh
I
yeah.
remember here in Lake Forest when I was growing up. Brazelton, is that how you say that, Carla? Brazelton?
Yeah, it's Brazelton, Georgia.
Brazelton, cool.
Kim Basinger owned the town at one time.
Oh, really?
I don't think she does anymore, but yeah.
The whole town?
Yep.
Sydney, Australia. What time is it over there in Sydney? Yes, and let's have fun. I saw a reel just the other day. Crocodile Dundee.
Oh yeah.
Throw another shrimp on the Barbie.
So
Gotta
I
have some
might.
1 a.m. Wow, that is commitment.
Hello,
1
hello,
a.m.
guys.
Hey,
Hey, you know whose
tapping in.
birthday's tomorrow?
Who's?
Debbie's.
Debbie's 30 years old?
She's 36 years old tomorrow.
Everybody unmute. We got to sing the last line of
Birthday,
Happy
Debbie.
Birthday. Unmute. We'll sing Happy Birthday.
Birthday, Miss
Day
Rockstar.
to you.
Love it.
Congratulations, you're halfway to 72.
God. What's up, Joey?
Yeah.
What's up, Jeff? I have to wash my head. Too much pickleball and tennis today, so I've been sweating like a pig.
Mhm.
That's so good.
Let's see. I got a text from Rhonda. She said that her internet's down and the guy's supposed to be there right now. So she said as soon as he fixes it, she'll jump on. Let's see. Where are we going to start here? I mean, PowerPoint going here.
We're going to all make a difference in somebody's life today. That's where we're going to start.
We are.
Amen to that. Let's see. We'll go right. Start right here.
We need to all message Lenny and say, where you at, brother?
Yeah.
He's coming. I talked to him.
Okay. Let's start here. All right. Welcome, everyone. Jeff, let me make you co-host. Debbie. Host. Welcome to any guests that may be on. Just invite you to get back with the person that got you here. And this Zoom is it's one of my favorite days of the week, Saturday morning, because of this Zoom. And literally, like one of the sayings that I heard did I put this in recording? Yeah. One of the sayings that I heard when I got into Isagenix network marketing, first company, first time, and it's been 21 years now, been amazing. But one call can change it all. One conversation can change it all. And same thing with this Zoom. If you really focus in, and if you're looking, it's not a passive thing to take your life to another level. You got to want to do it. And That's what this Zoom's about: inspiring, educating, empowering. I'm going to throw that word into the chat because I really like that word, empower. Empower the individual to take the reins of life and go in the direction that you want to go rather than going in the direction that you're being told to go. And with a few hours a week to be able to do what you want, right? We really want to free that up and extend those hours to where you can do what you want to do with your life and enjoy it and have the money to do it, have the time to do it, and have the resources to do it and the health to do it. And that's all under one umbrella with Isagenix. The deeper you look, the better it gets. The more you commit to it, the more empowered you become because you're aligning yourself with something that has the power to do that. So in fact, there's a perfect slide for that. It's this one right here. Let me put this one first, and then we'll come back to that discussion. Jim and Kathy Coover and John Anderson, I mean, all very successful in their own fields. And they put together Isagenix, to really impact people's lives and to create freedom. And when you have freedom with your time and with your health, because you have the finances and the health and the ability and the wherewithal, to truly free you up. I remember Jim Coover. Who was there when Jim Coover said, "Does Isagenix create true freedom or what?" And he was really coming out talking about the compensation plan of Isagenix and how they tied it together with these amazing transformational products, and how he's very proud of the fact that him and a team of people put this compensation plan together to where we didn't become salespeople. We didn't become quota, where we had to reach quotas every month. They truly created something that lifted the company and the individual at the same time, simultaneously. And he was very proud of that, and rightfully so. And just to get us from where, life is out of balance, we're heavy on the work side, where your best years are spent, dedicated to building somebody else's life, the owner of the company, and barely getting by. That's another phrase I heard. JOB, what does that stand for?
Just about broke.
Yeah, just above or just over broke. And that was true in my case. How many people have a second job, a third job, or lack, even with the second and third jobs that I've had, I still didn't get to do the things that I dreamed of doing. And so now I've lived that life for, I'm coming up on 21 years in Isagenix, but really after my first couple of years of really digging in and really putting forth the effort, after a couple of years, I started, not even a couple of years, less than a couple of years, I was experiencing things that I had never experienced financially and with my health and the impact that I was making in the world. Because this vision becomes our vision, that we get to start helping free people. And there's nothing more, to me, more passionate than really having a life of purpose that is impacting other people's lives because of what you do. But then also being able to create that freedom. And very quickly, I was able to start living my dream. And now I call it I don't know how to say it anymore, Debbie, than fairy tale dream come true life. It is a fairy tale. It's a dream come true. And it's more than a dream. It's a fairy tale. Like, it's just absolutely amazing that we could live like this way. And I'm grateful for it. And not a day goes by that I'm not grateful for it. And I just want to help other people to experience the same thing. I call that heaven on earth. So in the process of doing that, we can help other people balance their lives out. And right now, Michael Jewell just became the 453rd millionaire announced. I need to change that picture. Michael Jewell, a lot of you know him, and awesome guy. And, so that's what we've done. I think we paid out, how many billions have we paid out? How many is like close to $7 billion we paid out?
We paid out, we made over $9 billion plus. We paid out over $4 billion in commission to us associates.
That's amazing. Think about that, you guys.
And
For-
we donated over $47 million to charities.
Wow. Absolutely phenomenal. There's enough to go around, you guys. And we could literally say, like, we should all be like Sam Walton family, each one of us, because we're talking about food and people eat every day. And we have such a small percentage of people that are eating Isagenix, probably about 1%, maybe not even that, not even 1% of the population eating Isagenix. And so once we help everybody realize that we have the absolute best food on the planet at the most economical price, then who wouldn't be on it, right? So we're bridging gaps, you guys. And I just want to, real quick, I've been talking about this, so I'm not going to go into it. Lenny, came up with this gap survey of where are you at with your health on a scale of 1 to 10. And there's before Isagenix, and then those of us that are on Isagenix now, and we know the transformation and how we bridged that gap with Isagenix. But I said a negative, and Lenny's all, you can't be at a negative with your health because you'd be dead. And I'm like, well, I felt like I was dead every day. And then, I have amazing health now, totally turned it around. So where were you at before Isagenix, or where are you at right now if you're not on Isagenix? And on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. Same thing financially, time freedom. I just went over all that, so I don't really want to keep going over that. But this is about what's in it for you. What's in it for you and your family and your quality of life. That's what Isagenix wants to address. Now, just because it wants to doesn't mean it's going to. You have to opt in, right? And we all opt in at different levels. Debbie, you jumped in head first, and it took Jeff a minute or two to follow you. But when he decided, he jumped in head first, right? But we can hesitate, we could delay, we could say no. That's each person's individual right. And we don't want to take that away. And I'm not here to convince, just to educate. So this was me in my life. I had a paper route. That's our car, a maroon van with maroon interior. Everything was maroon. The steering wheel, the dashboard, the headliner, everything was maroon, you guys. And I was not proud of that car, but, it got me from point A to point B. This was our house, 1,300 square foot home. We had 5 kids, and then we had foster kids that would live with us. So 3 bedrooms, imagine that. And I was happy to be in that house. I was grateful, but it wasn't my dream home by a long shot. And that was me before Isagenix. And I mean, really, do I look happy? And, if I had a good Rockstar energy drink, I could be happy for a couple hours, and then it would drop me like a lead weight. And I just struggled. I was struggling through life, and still grateful, struggling, but grateful, right? You could be both. And that's where I was. And Isagenix turned it all around. So let me share. This is where I wanted to. Well, let's just jump into it. Debbie, why don't you go ahead and tell your story? Then we're going to jump into how Isagenix is like my story, you guys. Let me just say this right here. This is me before Isagenix. Don Diener would say I was sick, fat, and broke. And then I was introduced to Isagenix, and now I'm not, right? And it was these 3 products that changed everything for me. And that's a marketing, dream come true. 3 products that transformed my health, my energy, my brain, everything, like John Gray said. And that's a marketing dream come true. And I'm very entrepreneurial. And so I let the company do the heavy lifting with the products, and I just got people to put it in their body and have the experience. And, going back to those millionaires, it's just been an incredible, me and my wife are the 69th millionaires in Isagenix. So Debbie, what's your story? And then let's go into the why, what are we addressing, and how is Isagenix addressing that? And I'll pull up your guys' slide. Have it here somewhere.
So not sick, fat, and broke, but sick, lean, and no time. How's that?
Yeah, I like that because it's all different spectrums, right? It's the whole spectrum.
Yeah, looked great on the outside and was having some major problems on the inside and needed some surgery. And fingers crossed that I was going to come out okay. So yeah, there's that. I love about the free up time. You actually prompted me to write free up time. like how many people want to free up time. They think about free up time, but, and however, are they feeling good when they get to that point? Because most likely, no, because they've been working themselves to death. You said the Sam Walton family, and it made me think because our daughter, son-in-law, and granddaughter 4 years ago moved to Bentonville, Arkansas, Sam Walton town, right?
Oh,
And
wow.
think about the legacy that he and other people helped build, but how much blood, sweat, and tears, and President Carter, I saw that overtime, overtime, overtime. People were just, I'm sure, breaking down their bodies to help build that legacy along with Sam. And they've done some great things in the world and they've given back and all that. But were they free during all of that? So not to put that down, we all probably thank God for Walmart and the give back that they've done, but think about all the work and the overtime that went into that. And are they feeling good now or during building that legacy, where I feel like we've really had that opportunity, if we really dive in head first to having that opportunity, we get to feel good while we're building our legacy. We get to free up our time and feel good while we're freeing up our time. And then that's the legacy we get to give our family. So, I mean, Isagenix is absolutely the vehicle for all that if people do choose. And like you said, we're not here to convince any of that. We lived that. We've been in, Jeff and I have been in since 2012. And we're still here and going strong because it's exciting. We are working our schedules when we want to work our schedules. However, this is just like a job. We do treat it. It is work. It's network marketing. However, we get to choose our schedules. We get to choose our vacation time. We get to choose feeling good while we've been freeing up all of that. So, I mean, there's just no other way.
Well,
That's why-
Debbie, where you say it's network marketing, define what the ultimate work is? What's the win in the work of network marketing? What's the ultimate win?
The ultimate win is we're helping, like that statement.
Yeah.
We're helping people. We're helping people. We're setting people free financially and then physically free of whatever pain points they have. Now, of course, there's things that happen in the world. There's things that happen in people's lives that, that a lot of times we can't do anything about that. But the things that we can do about and help people feel better and live better, then we're all here for it. And that's what we get to do. And there is nothing like serving someone else, because when you don't feel good, whether it's mentally or physically, and you're maybe on a wah because a lot of stuff has happened in your life, all you have to do is go help somebody, and it turns your own mentality around and you start feeling better. We get to do that on the daily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful. And here you have Joey at 1 a.m. in the morning, right, in Australia, joining us. Joey, why are you on here? Why are you on at 1 a.m. when everybody else is sleeping? You should be able to unmute. There you go.
Yep. Oh, Dave, I was in the lowest point of my life when I found Isagenix. I think Isagenix found me. And from there, this professional have helped me a lot to work on myself and my personal growth. It's all about the environment that I surround myself with. And I realized that my past environment has been not doing me any good. The friend that I have, the community I went to, is totally different from what I have now. And that's why I make the commitment to stay around the people that they already achieved what I have, because I have goals in life. I have a vision and a mission, and it's aligned with what Isagenix do to free people and from physical and financial pain, because I was in the physical pain in my life and financial pain. So, I wanna be a leader on that one to promote health and wellness, and not only that, but to help people put some money in their bank account. So, so I'm very grateful to be here, and that's why I keep turning up, because I believe in what Isagenix do, and our mission, and our community, and our leadership, including all of you.
That's a mic drop moment right there. I believe in what Isagenix does, and you're aligning with that. One more story, and let me go to Connie, Jeff, and then I'll go to you. Well, no, go ahead, Jeff, because you want to say something based on Joey, I'm sure. So, and then Connie.
You got it. And what you guys heard too, like Debbie says, serving somebody. Joey's in our organization, personally enrolled under us across the world. This is the impact you can make. It's not just in your town, it's not just in your country, even. It's impacting the world. And not only when you get to serve somebody like that, you see how much he gives back to us and uplifts us and brings joy to us.
Mhm.
So, that's the community you get to surround yourself with. You find people like Joey that really has a passion to get out of that pain point in life, physically, financially, and really treats this as a profession. He treats it as a profession and he shows up. He's on the leaderboard. He is on the leaderboards for the trip in Australia, to that beautiful island. He's earning from changing people's lives in our team, earning contests we're doing. So it's about showing up. And, it's just, I'm so grateful for you, Dave. I'm so grateful for everyone. I'm so grateful for my wife not giving up on me because I tried to pay my wife to quit, believe it or not. It was all about just be healthy, honey, just be healthy. It's about your health. She had a major health issue and it was just about getting out of that pain point. But then she saw what she said, you have to go serve people. And she had a vision of, I'm not going to let anybody go through what I went through. I'm doing a disservice to me and I'm doing a disservice to them. And she dove in and she looked at me and said, I want you to join me. I'm doing this with you or without you type attitude. And I wouldn't even get on the product. And I said, when I saw that passion, like in Joey and Dave, everybody on here, I saw it and I saw it in my wife and I said, give me the box. And I
Yeah.
dropped 28 pounds my first month, dropped a total of 60 in 4 months, went from a 38-inch waist to a 31-inch waist. And then she took it to the next level. She said, babe, please come to one of my events, please. And I, same thing, kicked and pushed and no. And she said it was in Vegas. And I said, maybe I'll go, but I'm not going in. I'll bring you coffee. And I walked in that room and felt, at first it was a little weird thinking, oh, these people are a little wacko.
Hmm.
But the energy in that room was unbelievable. And to see the results on these products, I thought my results were astounding, but to see these other results, but then to see the financial part of this and to see these flipping checks and to know what I was doing. I had zero time. We made a lot of money, but zero time in my life. I didn't get choices. And I had to give up all my choices to make sure my family was covered. And my wife said, I'm going to retire you within 2 years, 2.5 years. And I just thought when I saw those checks and realized this compensation plan that you showed Jim and Kathy Coover, based after insurance acquisition, it clicked on me. And I just kept in my head saying, what if? What if? And when she got up and said that, I hugged her crying with her. And I says, I'm in. And we jumped in, like you said, we jumped in. And we thought, why we both had full-time jobs. Time, when you're busy, you get more stuff done. Time blocking. And if you have a passion. And we did. And again, like you, Dave, we're number what 244 millionaires in the company. They've had 400 and something now, 453, you said, and
Mhm.
Mike's in our organization. How beautiful is that? They just hit millionaire too. And we've made multi-millions of dollars in this company. And what I want to get at, my wife put a vision on her vision board and she put a date behind it. And believe it or not, that date was almost to a T. I get to retire 12 and a half years early uh, with Isagenix and live this type of life. Like you said, Dave, dream life, fairy tale life.
Mhm.
17 years old, got together with her. It's a fairy tale life. Anyways,
Yeah.
thank you.
What a
That's it.
great end. Well, it's not an ending, right? It's just like the next chapter.
This is the
Let's go.
beginning.
Yeah. I was listening to Bob Proctor the other day and he said, successful people are little go-givers. They're go-givers, not go-getters. And I would say that, everybody that's on this Zoom that has been involved with Isagenix and been consistent with it, you've made that correlation. Whether you make it consciously or not, it's a feeling that you get that drives you. And he really defines that by you're a go-giver. Successful people are go-givers. And the world teaches everybody to be a go-getter. Oh, he's just such a great little go-getter. No, you don't want to be a go-getter. You want to be a go-giver. And Connie, you probably trump everybody as far as seniority. You've been in Isagenix for over 22 years, 23 years, and it's, profoundly changed your life. Let's just hear, just from you real quick, what it means to you. Maybe you can share your results if you want, but what does it really mean to you to be partnered up with Isagenix? And you're muted out.
Sorry. I was thinking when you guys were sharing, and I remember a time at an event and Jim Cooper was on stage and there was thousands of us in the room. And he said, listen, there's not a cough, a sneeze, nothing. We're the healthiest people on earth. Why wouldn't you want to share that feeling and that opportunity for people to change their lives and bless them forever? So it changed mine, and I will forever be grateful. And I had a passion after my change that I just had to tell the world, because I felt if it could change something in me that I had had for 30 years that quickly, how many people had something that they needed changed in their life, health-wise, not even financially, and then to bless them financially as well and change both their health and their finances. There's just nothing better. And, there's a lot of people out there that'll try and sell you a product and it's a Band-Aid. We've got the whole answer. We've got all of it. We can help somebody. I'm not making any claims, but our nutrition, putting the nutrition in the body, helps them have the opportunity for a life that they thought was gone, and they can have it back.
Yeah. Well, and we can make claims. We just can't make medical claims, right? So we can claim that we have the best nutrition on the planet.
Yes.
To help people be the best version of themselves. And I'll take that to the court of law, along with Dr. Paul Arciero's clinicals.
Yes.
Right? Because there's no refuting that. There's no refuting it.
And we just... Same thing. He said it in one of his recent videos. He said the same thing. He said, you have the best product on the planet. And he just all but finished the sentence and said, now go out and tell the world, because you got the best.
Yeah. Yep. And when we, like Jeff, at that moment when you were going into the event, there's a moment of vulnerability where you go from, no, I'm in control, I'm not going to get, fooled, to where there's that little split second in between where you got to allow yourself to be vulnerable and say, maybe there's something here more than I realize. And it's right at that moment you open up, and that's when the spirit can touch our hearts, right? And then from there, it's like it changes you, because once you put the wall down, you let it hit your heart and it just softens you up because you're willing to take a really good look. And that's what Isagenix is, you guys. It's what it represents again and again and again. And I never get tired of helping people get to that split second, that moment of vulnerability where they say, what if? That's what made me think of that when you said, what if? You went in, you saw the energy, what if this is it? And so I just want you all to think about that. What if? What if this is it? So our message is really simple. I mean, it's profound and it's simple and it's complex all at the same time. But what we're doing, let me pull up the slide that I want to get to. I'd say this one here. but I think there's another one. No, it's up here. Yeah, right here. So the message is simple, but it's not obvious. I didn't really understand. I thought I knew that I knew, but I didn't know that I didn't know. And once I started getting the real information, and I could feel it was the real information, there was no agenda tied to it other than just the principle of the thing. And when I watched Food Matters, that was one of my first awakenings. I think we've all seen Super Size Me, but they don't really get into it like we know fast food is junk food, right? That's self-evident pretty much. But Food Matters broke it down. And when they said, you can't get from the grocery store your whole foods, what you used to be able to get out of them, you can't do it anymore. You can't support your body with the grocery store alone. You've got to supplement. And then when I learned from being in Isagenix, I put the two together. Well, the supplements weren't working for me. Back here, in this picture right here, I was a supplement junkie. I was even doing wheatgrass shots, taking supplements, exercising, and it wasn't working. And then I get on Isagenix and it works. So yeah, you could look at these as supplements, but what I learned through those two things, the education I got from that documentary, and then what I learned in Isagenix is not all supplements are created equal. And so once I put those two pieces together, I found my purpose in life to help connect people to Isagenix, where the products are not compromised and they know how to do it right. They know how to let me get to this slide right here. They know how to bridge the gap better than anybody else. And I was talking with somebody who's a formulator in the world, just got started on Isagenix through Malcolm. Big formulator, had started another company that everybody else would know about, but not involved with that company anymore. And he said that the whole enzymatic processes and the synergistic blends are so important. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. And that's what you see in the supplement world is ingredients in separate bottles, not having the other factors built into it that gets it delivered to the body where it can utilize it. So there's two things that really separate Isagenix from everybody else in the supplement world. One, the quality of the nutrients that are being used, because not all nutrients, even though they have the same names, are not equal. And this is what you got to understand in your own head so that your confidence and your posture as you're sharing, you understand. You're taking a position when you share Isagenix. And there are a lot of companies that use inorganic ingredients, which means they're not water soluble. They're still more in a rock form, the hard mineral. And your body can't absorb that. And Isagenix uses the organic, water-soluble ingredients, the natural organic ingredients. So the quality of the ingredients, and then how to synergistically put them together, the science behind the initiation factor, the assimilation factor when you put things together. It's very complex and profound, and you could want to help people and throw things together. Like you said, Debbie, you were putting stuff together and it just didn't work. You're a perfect example of somebody with a true heart, but not having all of that background experience on how to do all of that science, right? And Isagenix does. So they're committed to the quality and the formulations and getting it to where it actually works in the human body. And it sounds almost egotistical or prideful, or not the right word, but you guys know what I'm saying, to make that claim that we're the only company that's really doing it. Well, I'm sure there's some companies that want to do it, and maybe they're doing it in their own small, comparably insignificant way to Isagenix, but most people aren't. And that's what shocked me when I watched the documentaries and I read the studies on supplements. And that's why they call them bedpan bullets in medical community, because the pill goes through, it isn't even digested, and it comes out in the pill form right into the bedpan, which means it did absolutely nothing. You paid for it, but it did zero for the body. Now, I could substantiate that. I only heard that, and I'm like, okay, it's kind of like when I heard about the ingredients in blueberries that weren't really blueberries in that same documentary. They said that they're red dye, blue dye, and high fructose corn syrup. And I was like, okay, that's really underhanded. Like, that's really sneaky and deceiving and dishonest. But it wasn't until I went in the store and I saw a blueberry on the front of a box, and I turned it around and it called it a blueberry crunchlet in the ingredient. And it was red dye, blue dye, and high fructose corn syrup. That's when it like hit home. Like, that's what I buy my kids, and we eat this at home, and it's got all this bad stuff in it. That was the reality check, right? So when you hear like bedpan bullet, most people may not even know what that means. It's the doctor saying, look, we see the pills in the bedpan from patients that are laying in bed and they can't use the bathroom. They use a bedpan. Well, I did 2 different presentations where 2 different people, 2 different states said, hey, I own an outhouse business. And they both relatively said the same thing. We have to screen the bio waste and get the pills out of it because it clogs up our equipment. And one of them said, we have piles of pills. And he even said this: you can still read Men's One a Day on it. That's when the reality check hit. Like, okay, it's real. People are wasting them. No wonder I didn't feel better. Like, just our cognitive dissonance, and we just can't really relate to it, right? Until we can. And it was like, okay, I'm on a mission, because that's not Isagenix. This stuff made me feel better, and there has to be a reason why. It's because we got the nutrients back in the food, and the bodies are now operating on the level that they can heal and thrive themselves. Because look where the disease is back in early 1900s, when the nutrients were in the food, was almost non-existent. People lived their lives until God called them home, when it was their time to come home, not prematurely because of what they've been eating their whole lives. Big difference. So that's it. Isagenix has bridged the gap in the nutritional deficiencies. And then we've done it in the different areas of helping the body to cleanse itself and helping the body to thrive and get the nutrients that it needs to be at homeostasis. That's it. So then, you look at the different pictures here and you just see it. It's like you get a little sneak. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I hate interrupting you because you're so passionate, but I just got to say, I really want people, this is so super important besides the bedpan bullets, because I can hear, some people going, oh, that's never happened to me. Well, here's what does happen that people don't realize is, even if it absorbs, we're not getting what we need, or we're getting something that doesn't have the precursor, that doesn't have the match, that doesn't have the next thing that you need, and it puts our body at imbalance. And then, so we're doing ourselves harm when we're doing that pseudoscience. We're going to Whole Foods or wherever, I'm going to grab this vitamin and maybe that vitamin, and now we're throwing that in because that's going to make us healthy. Not only is it probably not absorbing, even if it is, it put us at imbalance because we didn't have the thing that needed to go with the thing that goes with the thing. So when you talk about synergistically, this is why Isagenix is brilliant, because it synergistically works together, and we don't have to worry about throwing ourselves into imbalance, because that imbalance then leads our bodies to disease. And that's the thing right there. That's the thing. And that's what I feel my body, what was happening to my body, because hello, fitness and nutrition spokesmodel, taking whatever was given to me because this was the thing. I think it threw me into imbalance, and that's why I was so sick.
Yeah, I mean, well said. And, who can go around and travel around the world and find these different ingredients and how to put them together and then get them to where you're utilizing them? Which one of you can go do that? Fly around, go see what other cultures are doing, and go to different continents and talk to the people, and then contract with them to, get a supply of those ingredients shipped back to the United States. Who can do that? And it's like, not only can you not do it at the grocery store, you can't do it just within the United States. We're getting ingredients from probably every continent on the planet. So, there's all of these complex things that when you really start to see, you start to realize what you have. And it's not that we need to portray all of that and convey all of that to everybody we share with. We just need to share our story. Connie's story. I share Connie's story. I share Debbie's story. I share my own story. I share my wife's niece story, right? We have all kinds of stories. And then you get people to take the products. And then we get these texts back about how great they're feeling and how it's improving their life and the quality of their life. So really, I think really I enjoy, being able to talk about these things and discuss these things and share them. But really, I mean, that's it. Isagenix has the best food on the planet, hands down. And Dr. Paul Arciero, who's done over 100 human clinical trials, really let this sink in and think about it, you guys. He's done over 100 published human clinical trials on how nutrition impacts the physiology of the human body. And he said Isagenix is the best on the planet. And he said every human should be eating about 70% of their food should be Isagenix. Now, that's only going to apply to people who want to be their best, right? Because not everybody wants to be their best. I remember listening to an audio by Big Al Schroeder. Aunt Judy gets a lot of, satisfaction out of complaining about her health problems. And she doesn't want that taken away from her. She wants her health problems. Well, great. More power to Aunt Judy, right? We're looking for the people who want to improve, want to be able to live and get the most out of life. And they're not getting it right now. And there's a lot of people. That's a huge marketplace, you guys. So we have the tools and just to, close, let's just keep this a little bit shorter today. Close in. Once you share with two people, once you create two customers out of the world's best food on the planet, just two customers that will utilize the products and take the advantage of the opportunity to order their Isagenix products and consume them. Just two. You too could become a millionaire in Isagenix. Now that may be too far out thinking. For me, it was just dinner and a movie. For me and my wife, I would really like to go to dinner and a movie. That was my first goal. And we hit it very quickly. In fact, we went to dinner and a movie like multiple times a month. And then it was like, I'd like to get some, new clothes for my kids instead of waiting for hand-me-downs and trying to find them at the Goodwill store, or trying to, extend the life of the clothes as long as you can. I duct taped my son's shoes. Can't do that with the daughters, but with my son, I duct taped his shoes. I saw a movie the other day and the person had duct tape around their shoe. It was black, so you couldn't see it as much. I'm like, I totally know that. Right? And that was it. And then very quickly, we started getting them new clothes and then taking them out to dinner with us and then the vacations. And the first time we went to Disneyland and didn't have to stay at my parents' home, that was the moment that I felt like a provider that could be proud of something that I've accomplished for my kids. That was a dream come true, to be able to stay at a nice hotel while we went to Disneyland, to be able to afford both instead of laying on the couch or on the floor, my kids sleeping on the floor at my parents' house in Anaheim, California. That was it in the beginning. But then why stop there? Okay, I don't want to help people anymore. I don't want to get the joy and satisfaction and purpose-filled life that I get from helping other people. Why stop there? And I didn't. And then we moved into our dream home, driving our dream cars and all of those things that followed. And it was effort and it wasn't easy. It's like, it's not messy, but it doesn't just flow perfectly. You guys know that, right? Like, I mean, Debbie, you started and Jeff resisted. That it wasn't messy. It just was. It's not this like, okay, once you decide, you just go from one dot to the next dot and the picture fills in easily and effortlessly. It's not like that. Life isn't like that. It's challenging and it's going to push you. But every time it pushes you and you get over the hurdles, you're better for it. And you just become this person who's progressively getting better. And as long as you're moving forward, and again, I heard from Bob Proctor, I've been listening to his audios as I've been jogging. And he said, Earl Nightingale gave the best definition of success. This is worth writing down because then you can check in with yourself and you can define what your own success is. It's the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. The progressive realization of a worthy ideal. The father of modern personal development says that's what success is, that you're progressively moving towards it. And that's a daily activity, the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And then you can ask yourself, did I do what I needed, do what I know I needed to do? You could hold yourself accountable based on that definition. Did I help somebody today? Did I follow up with somebody today? Did I introduce somebody today? Did I do some? For me, with this running this marathon for the first time, I'm either progressively moving towards crossing that finish line on a daily basis by getting the miles in. All I got to do is log the miles. If I log the miles, I'm progressively moving towards my worthy ideal, which is crossing that finish line. And I can be the only person that's going to tell you if I'm doing it or not, holding myself accountable. So it's very easy to be able to do that. Now, if you have more efficient days than inefficient days, so if there's more days where you're progressively moving towards your ideal goal and less inefficient ones, the ones where you didn't do anything, if you have more efficient days, you must be a success. It's as sure as gravity. If you have more efficient days where you're moving towards your worthy ideal, you did something to move you towards it, and less inefficient days, you must be successful. And once I learned that, I just made my days efficient because I can choose those actions. They're not impossible actions. Does that make sense, you guys? So if you're saying, hey, I haven't really enrolled anybody lately, or I'm not cycling, you can say, have I had more efficient days or more inefficient days? They'll always line up. They must. It's a principle. They must line up. There's no arguing it. Okay? So I love this community. I love that we get to talk about things like this. For some of you, it might be like, Dave, you're boring me. You're a double pinner today where I'm sticking both pins in the eyes. But, you know, some weeks are better than others. But I love this kind of information. And I know a lot of you do as well. We have different temperaments and how we like to see it. Like, a lot of us like to see the progressive. The pictures, show the pictures. I want to see the pictures. Let's see Jeff again. You know, there's Jeff right there. You know, I love the pictures too. But I love the data. I love the information. And I love Isagenix. And I love you guys. So with that, anybody want to share anything? We can just open mic Saturday. Anybody want to share anything?
Have to share. You hit me hard in the heart when you said, that's when I felt like a provider, a real provider, when I didn't have to stay at my parents' house with my kids to go to Disneyland. You just like, I swear, I know the story because I've known you for a long time, right? But it hit me today differently. So when we talk about freedom, it's experiences, because that brought me to going to Disneyland with our family and my granddaughter wanting, we all know that Disneyland can be expensive, the food's expensive, but it brought me to my granddaughter wanting something. And she's like, Nani, and I'm like, here, take my credit card. Like, I didn't have to worry about my credit card, and I go buy everybody and well, okay, don't do that. But you know what I mean? Like, go get it one for all of us. And I didn't have to worry about handing her my credit card. And, you know, we were successful, but we worked all the time. And even being successful and working all the time, you still thought about, oh my gosh, what's that going to cost? And you know, you still thought about your budget and stuff. But when I went to Disneyland and handed her my credit card, and then you said, I didn't have to stay at my parents' home, now I feel like a provider. It was like, it just hit me so hard. So what if freedom really just means experiences? And maybe that's for different personalities. You know, maybe freedom isn't the word for them, but experiences, like, let's think about that and how we really feel about ourselves and what we've done or can do. So
think about this, Debbie. You're I'm on a roll now. Sunny will come to you next. So the fairy tale part of it, right? Like the fairy tale dream, because that's cool that I got to do that and we got to stay at a nice hotel. But that wasn't the only thing we did on the trip. We went to Catalina, and well, let me back up a little bit. We stayed at the Disneyland Hotel. if you guys ever priced out the Disneyland hotel, and it wasn't one room, it was 4 rooms that I got. For the married parts of the family, for the adult kids that weren't married, that didn't want to sleep with mom and dad, and mom and dad don't want them sleeping in our room anyways, right? 4 rooms at the Disneyland hotel. Okay. And then we go to Disneyland, we eat all the food. We also had shakes while we were there at the Disneyland. But what was the fairy tale part of it? Well, that was a dream come true, but let's add to it, right? Because Cinderella didn't just, get to go to the ball, right? She got to end up living in the castle, right? So we went to Catalina, and I grew up in California, and Catalina, I mean, going to Catalina, that's, anybody can go to Catalina. You just take the boat right across the ferry. But when we were there, like, it's a really small beach and it's pretty crowded, and there's not very big, not very much room, but they have these cabanas and they're in the back, and then they kind of come around like a half moon right up to the beach. There's a big one. The biggest one was right on the beach. And I walked up and I saw that nobody was in that cabana, and I said, "Hey, how much for that cabana? Like, to be able to, how much is it to go into the cabana?" And I said, "Is it reserved or anything?" "No, nobody ever gets that one." I'm like, "How much is it?" And he's like, "It's $500. I said, "Okay, we'll take it." Didn't even hesitate. And I grew up in California. I wasn't on the rich side of town, the rich neighborhood, right? And we all knew who the rich neighborhoods were and who the rich kids were at school. And for me to be in my own stomping grounds, doing something that probably they couldn't even do, and to get that cabana, and they brought wings to us the whole time and drinks, and we're right there. To me, that was bigger than going to Disneyland and staying in the Disneyland hotel, because it represented to me what I kind of envied as a kid growing up. Not that we were poor, but just that whole I wish, right? And to be able to have that was the fairy tale part of the story, going there. And then going into the shops, which are extra expensive, and being able to buy the kids whatever they wanted, the hoodies, whatever, as we left. That's the fairy tale part. And you guys, I was the guy that duct taped my son's shoes. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. Anybody can have that fairy. How big are you willing to dream? That's what this comes down to. How vulnerable are you allowing yourself to be? That split second where you say, what if, and then everything changes from that point on. Sunny.
Thank you, David. Greetings from Victoria, Vancouver Island. You really hit a nail on the head on your top. And you say, be a go-giver. I grew up in a family that my mom always gave, to the point she gave everything to the needy people. And I questioned her. I sometimes said, "Mom, you're giving and giving until we have nothing." And today, you really remind me of that, to be a go-giver again, because I think I was lost. I went away from it and try and get it for myself. And today, you really remind me to be back on the track of doing that. And thank you. I think
I have chills, full body chills, Sunny. Thank you for sharing that.
And, as a stubborn little child, I was like really angry at her because we grew up in that base of giving so you can help others. And I had a lot of go-getter, be a go-getter. But today, when you hit that, it really, really hit my spine on that one, to go back and be that go-giver and be vulnerable when I share it. And my way on this business is to get that freedom, time, money, to do all those great things you're talking about. And to do that, I have to go back to the roots of where I was trained to be a go-giver, a go get it for myself.
Ooh, what a blessing. What a moment. That's an incredible moment right there.
Thank you so much.
I can feel that to the extent that I'm capable of feeling it. I don't know everything that you went through in that whole thing, but I can feel that. Thank you for sharing. And that's the power of testimony and sharing our hearts, right? And that's taking you to a full circle moment back to where your mom exemplified And this is one of the reasons why I call Isagenix a divinely inspired company, because you can give until you have nothing. And
Yes.
there's honor in that. There's beauty in that. But what if where you give, you also are receiving, right? And you first must give. That's a biblical principle. You must give in order to receive. And all of us can give what's required to give in Isagenix. You don't have to have anything. It's your time. It's your love. It's your follow up. It's your supporting, inspiring, and encouraging. And that takes time. And that's the most valuable commodity. And you can give that. You can give to your heart's content. You can give, give, and give when it comes to Isagenix. It doesn't mean give the products away. It means give of yourself and the knowledge that you've gained in order to support people to success. That's what we're giving. And we're making the connection with Isagenix. So we can all be incredible go-givers here. And when you do it the right way, it will bless you in return tenfold, 20-fold.
Yeah.
Squared,
Thank
right? Yeah.
Thank you so
Beautiful
much.
share, Sonny. That's a beautiful share. And
Thank
that's
you.
the moments that we live for in Isagenix, right? When you come to that realization and then you're like, something in your past that may have been stumbling block is now a step to be able to move forward.
Absolutely. And I feel the joy when I start giving my time, my knowledge, my skills. And I'm forever grateful for Isagenix for turning me around 360 to realize that, simple little things in life you can be giving, and God bless by giving that little time or sharing about this business. So thank you very much for today.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're really we're going to end with this. This is very profound. Take notes. When you give, but you don't receive from that person you're giving to, you must maintain the attitude of you're grateful that you're able to give. When I drove 8 hours one way and nobody was there at the meeting, I was still grateful that I had the opportunity to strive to serve. And I kept that attitude as I drove home 8 hours. And when you do that, it's going to come back to you. It's going to come back to you. So you don't give in order to get. You're giving because it's the right thing to do, but there's a law that's in place with that. Just like when you take the next step forward, gravity takes care of you. The law of compensation will take care of you when you give with an honest intent to bless the other person's life, whether they receive that or not. You don't have any attachments to that. You're thankful for the opportunity that you get to serve, and you just keep doing it with a heart full of gratitude, and it'll come back. It always does.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
you guys. What an awesome Saturday. Bonnie, you want to say anything before we sign off here? We want
That's,
to honor you as our.
I couldn't jump on earlier. I had some other commitments, but that's funny you were saying that, because I was just thinking Isagenix is a gift. Prior to you saying that, I'm like, oh, wow. If we don't accept it as a gift, and I was thinking about my sponsor 24 years ago that said, come up and try this ISIS stuff. I'm like, what is that? And so that's exactly how I felt every day. It's a gift. And when I talk to people now, I look at and I think of them as, I'm giving you this gift. Whether you want to receive it or not, that's up to you, but it's a gift, and it was to me. And the other thing is, I'm really into, I've been working on my why for the last week. Why am I still doing this? And it really hit me that I'm all about giving back. So this is, pretty
What
profound.
a perfect ending message. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's all about giving back, and I like what you say, Dave, with, all we can do is give, and I'm all about donations. It's like I can donate somewhere every day to somebody, even if it's paying for their groceries or whatever. But anyway, sorry to jump on late, but
Awesome. No, that's great. Well,
Dave,
thanks, you guys. Awesome Saturday. Yeah,
Dave,
Jeff, go.
I just, this thing keeps rolling, but I just want to say the ripple effect, how much we got to receive, and what we gave, we got it back. To have the ripple effect of Joey too, that's his sister, and how that affected us just now. So it's just such a great ripple effect. And I hope all these numbers down here that I don't know who they are, the phone numbers, I hope you got some value out of this and felt our hearts and what this company has done for us physically, financially. And don't be a Jeff Beebe for a year hesitating. You know, it's a fairy tale life. You know, I get together at 17 with this girl, broke, you know, so and to have a life like this, to be able to do and be surrounded by people like yourself, it's beautiful. So thank you guys.
Mhm. Yeah,
We
let's take that to the world, you guys. The world world is crying out for us right now. Let's go out and give.
we
You guys
all
have an awesome Saturday.
We'll see you. Thank you guys. See ya.
Bye,
bye-bye.
everyone.
Oh.